Hey everyone, welcome. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining me today for this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly powerful manifesto on the actual, real-world mechanics of artificial intelligence. Behind the sleek, instantaneous interfaces of the AI models we use every single day, there's actually a massive, hidden army of human workers constantly nudging the machine, checking its logic, and correcting its completely bizarre mistakes. It's true. So if you're someone who wants to understand not just what AI does, but the fundamental groundwork that makes it actually function accurately, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to look really closely at where the foundation of artificial intelligence truly lies. And honestly, I think the answer is going to completely change how you view the technology we interact with every day. Okay, let's dive into this. Did you know that every single leap in AI starts with human intuition? I want you to really think about that question for a second. We so often imagine artificial intelligence as this cold, computational force just existing in a vacuum, right? We picture these massive servers humming away in dark rooms, crunching billions of numbers entirely on their own to arrive at some genius conclusion. But framing it that way, it completely ignores reality. The everyday AI tools you use, the generative models that seem like absolute magic, they are entirely reliant on the human minds powering them behind the scenes. Without human intuition giving the machine a starting point, it quite literally doesn't know what to look for. So, let's start with Section 1, the human intuition leap, moving beyond the machine. We talk a lot in today's society about how AI needs to be transparent and how its outputs need to be fair and accurate. But we rarely step back to ask where that accuracy actually comes from. We demand the final outcome, but we totally ignore the source. So the crucial point is, fair and transparent AI begins with good data. This is the absolute foundational truth we're dealing with here. You literally cannot build an accurate system on a flawed, messy foundation. Think about an AI trying to learn what a bat is. If the data it's fed is just lazily thrown together without human context, the AI might completely confuse a flying mammal with a wooden baseball bat. When we demand transparency from artificial intelligence, what we are really demanding is transparency in the data it was fed. Good data isn't just some technical requirement checkbox. It is the functional bedrock of everything these systems do. If the input is compromised, well, the output is compromised. It really is that straightforward. And that brings us to a massive contrast in how things are currently done versus how they really should be done. On one side, you've got hidden systems and middlemen. Think of this traditional data gathering approach like a giant game of telephone. Information gets scraped, bought by a broker, sold to another middleman, repackaged, and then finally fed to an AI. By the time the AI gets it, the original context is totally distorted. Nobody really knows where the information came from. But on the other side, you have open, traceable data trusted by AI. When you have a transparent system, you change the whole game. You create an environment where you're speaking directly to the source. The origin of every single piece of information can be tracked, verified, and audited without losing its meaning in a long, complicated chain of brokers. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The demand for good data, and enter Codatta. Let's look at a real-time example of this new transparent data standard in action. To understand how the Codatta platform achieves this, we first have to look at what they deliberately exclude. What Codatta eliminates are the middlemen and the hidden systems. By completely stripping away those intermediaries, they ensure that the data pipeline remains pure. But, what is the actual consequence of having middlemen in the first place? Well, when third-party brokers handle data, they often have hidden agendas. They might optimize data sets just to sell them faster, cut corners on verification to save a few bucks, or even skew the data to favor a certain commercial outcome. Without these intermediaries, there are no hidden agendas tweaking the algorithms in the dark. It's a direct, uncorrupted line from the human source straight to the AI system. This level of deliberate exclusion is exactly what allows an artificial intelligence to genuinely trust the data. All right, moving to Section 3, inside the Codatta protocol and how human data flows. Now, we're going to zoom in from the macro philosophy down to the micro level of the actual human workers interacting with this system. Let's walk through the exact journey of a piece of data within the Codatta protocol. Imagine a medical researcher named Sarah, and she's classifying X-ray images. Step 1. Sarah contributes a highly nuanced piece of data, bringing her specialized human intuition right to the table. Step 2. Others verify that data. Her peers in the medical field review her classification. It's an incredible system of checks and balances powered by actual experts. Step 3. From that peer verification, individuals build reputation. Because Sarah's data was accurate, her reputation score within the system goes up. And finally, Step 4. Everyone earns from honest work. Sarah is compensated for her verified contribution. It's a brilliant, tangible narrative of accountability. An honest human inputs information, Peers confirm it, they build a proven track record, and then they're compensated. It aligns human incentives perfectly with the AI's need for flawless expert-level data. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the term encoded intuition. This is a dense, critical idea defined as integrating human understanding into the protocol through reputation, decision patterns, and expert corrections. This isn't just about throwing raw numbers into a database, okay? It is about actively shaping the machine's logic. How does an AI learn how experts correct mistakes? Well, think of it this way. It's not just teaching a student the final correct answer to a really complex math problem. Encoded intuition is like showing the student the teacher's scratch pad, revealing the exact logic in the precise steps taken to get to that answer. The protocol learns to recognize the patterns of good decision-making. By factoring in a contributor's reputation, like our researcher Sarah from earlier, the AI isn't just taking data blindly, it's actively weighing it based on the proven intuition of the human who supplied it.
Which brings us to Section 4, Learning from Understanding, and the Ultimate Outcome.
This leads us to the grand conclusion of what this all means for the future of artificial intelligence. There is a massive, massive gulf between learning from raw information and learning from actual understanding. Learning from information is just absorbing the cold, hard data itself. Learning from understanding comes from the people who provide the context. Think about it like this. Information is knowing that a tomato is technically a fruit. Understanding is knowing that you definitely shouldn't put a tomato in a fruit salad. And this brilliantly illustrates the paradigm shift Codatta is pioneering. A traditional AI just looks at the information. It lacks context, it lacks nuance, and lived experience. But an AI built on this new protocol inherits that crucial fruit salad understanding directly from the people who shaped and verified that dataset. That's how AI becomes less artificial and more human. I really want to pause for just a second to let the magnitude of that statement digest. Because we've removed the middlemen, because we've rigorously verified the input, and because we've encoded actual human logic, we are no longer just building machines that simply mimic intelligence. We're building systems that act as a direct, verified reflection of human understanding. The artificial part actually begins to fade away, replaced by genuine human insight scaled up by technology. Because of this deep structural commitment to transparent, human-verified data, the Codatta protocol really represents a definitive shift in solving the black box problems we face today. We've seen how good data is the absolute prerequisite for accurate outputs, how removing middlemen creates genuine trust, and how encoding human intuition bridges that massive gap between cold math and true understanding. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. The next time an AI gives you an incredibly nuanced, helpful answer, will you just see a clever piece of software, or will you see the thousands of human minds and intuitions that laid the exact groundwork for that very moment? Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.